a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Tower Records. Tower Records was a retail music chain based in Sacramento, California, USA. It currently exists as an international franchise and an online music store. From 1960 until 2006, Tower operated retail stores in the United States, which closed when Tower Records filed for bankruptcy and liquidation. Tower.com was purchased by a separate entity and was not affected by the retail store closings. The corporate name was MTS Inc, but this was little known compared to the much more widely recognized Tower Records. Inception, expansion, and description. In 1960, Russell Solomon opened the first Tower Records store on Watt Avenue, in Sacramento, California. He named it for his father's drugstore, which shared a building and name with the Tower Theater, where Solomon first started selling records. By 1976, Solomon had opened Tower Books, Posters, and Plants at 1600 Broadway, next door to Tower Records. In 1995, Tower.com opened, making the enterprise one of the first retailers to move online. In addition to CDs and cassette tapes, the stores sold DVDs, electronic gadgets like MP3 players, video games, accessories, and toys, and a few Tower Records locations sold books as well, such as those in Briar, Mountain View, and Sacramento, California, as well as stores in Nashville, New York, Portland, Oregon, Austin, and Seattle. 7 years after its founding, Tower Records expanded to San Francisco, opening a store in what was originally a grocery store at Bay Street and Columbus Avenue. In 1979, Tower Records in Japan started its business as the Japan branch of MTS Inc. The following year, Sapporo Store, the first in Japan, opened. The chain eventually expanded internationally to include stores in Japan, United Kingdom, Canada, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, the Philippines, Ireland, Israel, United Arab Emirates, Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, and Argentina. The Tower Records stores in Japan split off from the main chain and are now independent. Arguably the most famous Tower Records outlet was the purpose-built building that company staff general contracted, with many personally contributing their labor, which opened in 1971 on the northwest corner of Sunset Boulevard and Horn Avenue in West Hollywood. In New York City, Tower Records operated a suite of stores on and near Lower Broadway and the East Village. The main store, located at the southeast corner of East 4th Street and Broadway, consisted of 4 levels, sold mainstream items, and was famous in the 1980s for selling albums of European new wave bands not yet popular in the US. It was a noted hangout for teenagers from the wider metropolitan area. The Tower Records Annex was in the same building, but located in the back, at the southwest corner of East 4th and Lafayette Streets, and stocked items that were older and a bit more obscure. The third store, Tower Video, located on the southeast corner of East 4th and Lafayette Streets, specialized in video and, for a while, the second floor of this location also sold books. Their location on the Upper West Side, near Lincoln Center on 66th Street and Broadway, was a magnet for those working in the field of musical theater. The Nashville location on West End Avenue was in a former Packard dealership. The old showroom floor in front was devoted to CDs, cassettes and vinyl. The area in the back housed video cassette sales and rentals, PC and console games and music paraphernalia. The strip mall next door contained a separate Tower Books. The location was famous for their late-night Monday events that culminated at midnight on Tuesday when staff started ringing up sales of new releases. Because of the store's proximity to Music Row, country music stars could occasionally be seen performing or shopping there. As part of a 2002 settlement with 41 states over CD price fixing, Tower Records, along with retailers Musicland and Trans World Entertainment, agreed to pay a $3 million fine. It is estimated that between 1995 and 2000 customers were overcharged by nearly $500 million and up to $5 per album. In 2005, the company began using scan and listen stations in its stores. These stations allowed customers to listen to audio samples from CDs and to search for particular songs, albums and artists. This model of listening station is still used at the Arizona-based chain Zia Records. In 2006, the company introduced the Tower Insider program. The program was free of charge and allowed a customer to receive a membership card which could be scanned with each purchase, allowing the customer to receive coupons and notification of special deals via e-mail. Tower Pulse magazine. In 1983, the company began publishing a music magazine, Pulse, which contained record reviews, interviews, and advertising. Initially, it was given away free in their stores to promote their record sales. After 9 years, in 1992, the magazine began national distribution, with a cover price of $2.95, but it was cancelled when the company discontinued U.S. operations. From 1983 until December 2002, Tower Records published it monthly, 222 issues in all. Bankruptcy. Tower Records entered bankruptcy for the first time in 2004. Factors cited were the heavy debt incurred during its aggressive expansion in the 1990s, growing competition from mass discounters and internet piracy, mismanagement, managerial incompetence, and crippling restrictions from the first bankruptcy deal also contributed to Tower's demise. Some observers took a pragmatic view. As Robert Moog, inventor of the Moog synthesizer, has stated, "I'm sorry if Tower Records and Blockbuster's sales plummet." On the other hand, it wasn't that long ago that those megastore chains drove a lot of neighborhood record stores out of business. In February 2004, the debt was estimated to be between $80 million and $100 million, and assets totaled just over $100 million. On August 20, 2006, Tower Records filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy for the second time, in order to facilitate purchase of the company prior to the holiday shopping season. Liquidation. On October 6, 2006, Great American Group won an auction of the company's assets and commenced liquidation proceedings the following day. This included going out of business sales at all U.S. Tower Records locations, the last of which closed on December 22, 2006. The Tower Records website was sold separately. The managers of FYE, a music store chain based in shopping malls, had negotiated a deal to acquire the two historic Tower locations in the latter's home base of Sacramento. FYE later backed out, stating that the leases aren't what we thought they were. FYE did acquire the lease of the West End Avenue store in Nashville, which eventually closed in 2011. FYE also took over a Tower Records in Torrance, which continued to operate until early 2016. Rasputin Music, a new and used music and video store based in the San Francisco Bay Area, expanded in the Central Valley of California by acquiring the leases for the former Tower Records stores in Fresno and Stockton. Other stores. The landmark Plaza Tower Records store in Alexandria, Virginia was permanently closed on December 18, 2006, and the Tysons Corner, Virginia, store permanently closed on December 21, 2006. The noted 24-year-old store in Washington, D.C. closed down the next day, as did the store in Atlanta, Georgia. On Friday, December 22, 2006, 40 years after Solomon had opened the first Tower Records store in Sacramento, the last Tower Records store in New York City, located at 1961 Broadway, 1 block north of Lincoln Center, on Manhattan's West Side, closed permanently along with all of the other remaining Tower Records stores in the United States. The final Tower Records store to be closed was the one in Mountain View, which closed at 5 p.m. One building in Sacramento had been a Tower Records store for 40 years, and the lot across the street had been the location where Solomon began selling records in 1941. R5 Records closed on June 4, 2010, and was sold to rival Dimple Records, which will reopen the store in mid-July 2010. The Tower Records building in Boston, located at the intersection of Newbury Street and Massachusetts Avenue, was instrumental in the conversion of the former street's commercial value. The 8-story building, renovated by Frank Gehry in the late 80s, is prominently visible from the eastbound Massachusetts Turnpike. The store featured gold stars of Boston artists embedded in the front landing. Virgin Megastore took over the store from 2002 to 2007. The space was later a Best Buy store and, After being vacant for some time, in 2016 was opened as a TJ Maxx store. Online return. Online merchant Cayman Incorporated reopened the website from Montreal, Quebec, on June 1, 2007. This company also announced plans to reopen the stores themselves, opening stores in Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco within the next 9 months. They hired former Tower buyer Kevin Hawkins to assist with the reopening. In 2009, Richard Flynn was hired as president. The website remained based in Montreal, but the relaunch of the brand never moved forward. Currently, the website features only the brand's logo, with the message "Some things must not pass," along with a sign-up form for an email newsletter. Canada. Tower Records operated in Canada in the mid-1990s with a flagship store at the Toronto Eaton Centre at the corner of Queen and Yonge, which opened in December 1995 and closed in 2001. Tower Records opened a second location in Toronto in the late 90s, at North York Centre, also on Yonge Street, but was closed just prior to the flagship store closing. Hong Kong. Tower Records opened stores in Hong Kong in the 1990s. There were 2 stores, one located on the 7th floor of Times Square at Causeway Bay, the other at Diamond Hill, Ireland. Tower Records is operated in Ireland by Record and Discs Limited under a licensed franchise of MTS Inc. 2 stores still operate in Ireland, both located in Dublin, one on Dawson Street and the other on O'Connell Street upstairs in Easons. It is proposed that Tower Records could expand to other cities in Ireland in the coming years. Israel. Tower Records Israel opened in 1993, a joint venture between Tower Records USA and 2 local businessmen. The founding director was Joel Abramson, who had previously managed Tower's flagship Sunset Strip location in Los Angeles. The first 3 locations were in Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem. The Tel Aviv location, with its beachfront location, was a popular shopping spot for Israeli pop stars like David Brozer, May Ariel, Aviv Geffen, Ricky Gall and others. TRI closed its final location in Renana in November 2015. Japan. In 1979, Tower Records in Japan started its business as the Japan branch of MTS Inc. The following year, Sapporo Store, the first in Japan, opened. In 1981, Japanese subsidiary Tower Records Japan Inc. was established. In October 2002, TRJ went independent from the international chain by management buyout. The bankruptcy of Tower Records in the U.S. in 2006 did not affect TRJ as it had been completely independent. As of October 1, 2014, TRJ maintains 85 directly operated store locations throughout Japan, including 10 Tower mini stores, and the Shibuya store in Tokyo, which is said to be one of the biggest music retail outlets in the world, occupying selling space of 5,000 square meters. TRJ also publishes free magazines Tower, Bounce, and Intoxicate directly and through its subsidiary NMNL. In addition to being the leading CD retailer in Japan, TRJ was the majority stakeholder in Napster Japan, a joint venture between TRJ and Napster LLC. On March 1, 2010, Napster Japan and TRJ announced that Napster Japan would terminate all its services on May 31, 2010 due to the difficulty in covering the costs for maintaining the required systems to continue the services. Tower Records Japan has a subsidiary record label called T-Palette Records, which specializes in idol performers. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?